So today, we're diving into a conversation that's more than 2,000 years old. But this isn't just any dialogue. It's a talk between a fully enlightened being and, get this, the king of the gods. And it's all about one of the biggest questions you could ever ask. Let's jump right in. I mean, really think about that. What is all this? It's not just some dusty old philosophical question. It's something we all wonder about. What's the bedrock of existence? Well, this ancient text doesn't just give you an answer. It offers a total rewiring of how you see absolutely everything. Okay, so before we can get to the what of the teaching, we really need to understand the who, the where, and the why. You see, this kind of wisdom didn't just appear out of nowhere. It happened in a very specific place with some pretty extraordinary characters involved. Picture this. We're on a place called Vulture Peak Mountain. It's a real place, famous in Buddhist tradition as the spot where some of the most mind-bending teachings about reality were first ever shared. Just imagine being there. And who's doing the teaching? Well, it's none other than the Buddha himself, the awakened one. He's about to drop some wisdom that cuts right to the very heart of what it means to be. Now, his student isn't just your average person. It's Indra, the king of the gods. I mean, think about that for a second. The ruler of an entire celestial realm is the one asking for this lesson. That tells you right away that the stakes here are absolutely cosmic. And they weren't alone. They were surrounded by this huge gathering of monks and other highly realized beings, all there, hanging on every word. So the stage is set for something incredibly important. So this brings us to the core of it all. The Sanskrit term is Prajñāpāramitā, which gets translated as the perfection of wisdom. But you gotta forget everything you think wisdom means. This isn't about knowing a bunch of facts. This is a kind of wisdom that literally dismantles the way we think. And the way the Buddha explains it is just brilliant. He doesn't give a simple definition. Instead, he starts taking our definitions away. He tells Indra everything this wisdom is not, which forces your mind to let go of all its usual little boxes and categories. First, he says it's not one single thing, but it's not different from everything else either. Right off the bat, our whole concept of this and that just starts to crumble. Then he goes even deeper. He says it's not real, but it's also not unreal. I mean, wow, this goes right for the jugular of our most basic assumption about what even exists. And finally, it doesn't arise and it doesn't cease. It was never born and it can never die. What he's pointing to is this timeless, unchanging foundation that's always there, just beneath the surface of our chaotic lives. This completely radical way of seeing things leads us to a huge concept in Buddhism, shunyata, or emptiness. Now, hold on, this does not mean nothingness. A better way to think about it as boundlessness. It's the idea that nothing has a solid, separate, independent existence. And this text, well, it explores that idea with some serious precision. How precise are we talking? Well, the sutra doesn't just say, everything is empty, and leave it at that. Nope. It breaks the idea down into 18 distinct forms. Yeah, 18. You've got the emptiness of our internal world, our thoughts, our feelings. Then there's the emptiness of the external world, everything we see and touch. He even talks about the emptiness of emptiness, which is this really clever way to stop us from turning the concept of emptiness into just another rigid belief. It's like a complete 360-degree map of reality's open, boundless nature. Okay, so after all that deep, analytical stuff, the Buddha kind of switches gears. He knows these ideas can be tough for our brains to really grab onto, so he offers up this beautiful, poetic set of images to help us feel what he's talking about. He starts with this invitation. He's saying, okay, here's how you should look at the world, at everything that comes and goes, everything that is conditioned. He asks us to see everything like a star, a tiny point of light in a vast darkness, or like a cataract, a flaw in our own eye that we mistake for the world, or like a lamp whose flame seems so stable but is always changing, and then, like an illusion, something that looks totally real but has no substance when you get close. And the images just keep on coming. See the world like a dewdrop, here one moment and gone the next when the sun comes up, or a bubble on the water, beautiful but about to pop. And, of course, a dream, something that feels so incredibly real while it's happening, but the moment you wake up, you realize it was all just mind. And he wraps it up with two incredibly powerful images, a flash of lightning, a brilliant, stunning event that's gone in an instant, and a cloud, something that looks so solid from far away, but up close, it's just mist. Every single one of these metaphors points to the exact same truth. What we think is solid and permanent is actually fleeting. And that, the text says, is how an awakened mind sees the world. So after all the deep philosophy and the beautiful poetry, the sutra does something amazing. It boils this entire profound teaching down into its absolute essence, a sacred sound, a mantra. This is one of the most famous mantras in all of Buddhism. It's basically the whole teaching compressed into sound. You can translate it as gone, gone, gone beyond, completely gone beyond to awakening. You see, it's not just a statement, it's a process. It's the entire journey from confusion to clarity, all held right there in a single breath. So, how did everyone react to this totally mind-altering teaching? Well, the text says the whole crowd, the gods, the humans, Indra, all of them, they rejoiced. They got it. And they couldn't wait to start putting this incredible wisdom into practice in their own lives. Which, of course, leaves us with a pretty big question. If we really took this to heart, if we actually saw our lives, our problems, our successes, as being as fleeting and as magical as a dream or a flash of lightning, how would that change the way we live? What would we worry about? And what would we see as being truly important?